You think in Earth Online, Uncle Crocodile is the only one who has never been nerfed. You're wrong. There is a creature that was a beta tester a full 200 million years before the crocodile. Having survived 5 mass extinctions and countless version updates, it remains a TO tier version meta to this day. It is the shark. But here's a question that many people don't know about. The great white sharks and hammerhead sharks you see in aquariums today are actually descendants from later updates. As for the truly original sharks, some grew iron needles on their heads, some had spinning serrated whorls in their mouths, and some even looked like flying fish and could fly. So, what did sharks look like across different versions over all these years? Let's wind back time to 450 million years ago. Back then, the Earth was a world of shallow seas. There were no vertebrates on land, no birds in the sky, and even the dinosaurs would have to wait another 200 million years to be born. The absolute overlord of the sea was the sea scorpion, a type of giant arthropod. In front of them, the early ancestors of sharks were completely outclassed. The first generation of primitive sharks, the acanthodians, were not even as long as a human finger. At about 7.5 centimeters, they looked more like sardines than sardines themselves. Their only highlight was the 15 sharp spines on their fins, which was like equipping themselves with an anti-predator defense kit. But it was this seemingly insignificant little guy that sowed the very first seed of a 450 million year history of apex evolution. Fast forward to 419 million years ago, the Devonian period. This was the golden age of fish, and also the first crucial turning point in shark evolution. A behemoth called Dunkleosteus appeared in the ocean. Measuring 10 meters long, it was known as the ultimate harvester of the Devonian period. Its bite force was comparable to that of small heavy machinery. Meanwhile, sharks evolved a weapon that would change their destiny: true shark teeth. Cladda's Lake, which debuted around this time, is considered the first true shark in history. With a length of about 2 meters, a streamlined body, and broad pectoral fins, it couldn't beat Dunkleosteus in a fight, but it was more agile and better at escaping. One of nature's laws is, if you can't win, run. Those who manage to survive are the true winners. And then, the plot saw its first major plot twist. Around 359 million years ago, the late Devonian mass extinction broke out. This disaster wiped out a vast amount of life in the ocean, including those once mighty placoderms, which all went completely extinct. Yet, sharks survived. The reason was simple. They were omnivorous, highly adaptable, resilient workers. They weren't picky eaters, nor were they tied down by any specific environment. Crisis breeds opportunity. Following the extinction, the ocean left countless ecological niches vacant. It was like the entire market suddenly cleared out all competitors, and sharks rushed right in to expand their territory. The subsequent Carboniferous period, from about 359 million to 299 million years ago, was one of the most magical eras in Earth's history. Warm, shallow seas were everywhere, and sharks entered their true golden age. Some scientists estimate that, in certain marine ecosystems at the time, sharks and their close relatives accounted for 60% to 70% of all species abundance. What kind of concept is this? It means if you went to an aquarium today, 7 out of every 10 fish inside will be all kinds of sharks. What was even more absurd was their appearance. Phenacotus evolved a long, slender body like an eel, specializing in squeezing into reef crevices to ambush prey. Janalessa looked like a giant ray, using flat teeth to crush shells. Edistis didn't grow normal teeth in its mouth, but rather a spiral-shaped giant buzzsaw teeth that sliced through prey in a circular motion upon biting. But the most bizarre of all was Stetocanthus. This fellow's dorsal fin turned into a massive flat protrusion, shaped remarkably like an anvil, which was densely covered with hundreds of tooth-like denticles. Scientists speculate that, This may have been an ornament used by males for courtship, or a visual weapon used to deter predators. In short, it was the developers of Earth Online telling you, I have more possibilities than you could ever imagine. Of course, not all sharks took the eccentric path. This era also had apex predators. For example, Cevedes, a giant shark that lived near Mammoth Cave in the U.S., could reach a length of 8 meters, making it already on par with today's great white shark. At this very moment, sharks completed their desperate counterattack from a marginal species to lords of the ocean. But what goes up must come down. This is an absolute law of the universe. Around 252 million years ago, the most catastrophic disaster in Earth's history struck. The Permian-Triassic mass extinction, commonly known as the Great Dying. Supervolcanoes erupted continuously for tens of thousands of years, flooding the atmosphere with massive amounts of carbon dioxide. Global temperatures soared, oceans acidified, and dead zones rapidly expanded. Over 80% of marine species vanished entirely. This time, sharks did not escape unscathed. Those bizarre sharks left over from the Golden Age, the iron needle heads, the spiral-toothed ones, and the flying fish types nearly all went extinct. Why? Here lies a brutal evolutionary paradox. The more adapted you are to the present, the more vulnerable you are to the future. Those highly specialized sharks were precisely so good at one specific thing that once the environment changed, they became completely useless. The catastrophe spared only those ordinary sharks that were jacks of all trades but masters of none. In the Mesozoic era that followed, sharks began a long process of rebuilding. They re-radiated and evolved, their forms converging, gradually growing into the shapes we are familiar with today. But nature wasn't done yet. She was about to forge another legend. About 23 million years ago, the megalodon made its debut. Its scientific name is Otodus megalodon, which translates directly to just 3 words. Big tooth, simple and blunt, completely unadorned, but it was already enough. Its teeth could reach up to 18 centimeters long, larger than an adult man's palm. By studying fossilized teeth, scientists estimate that the megalodon's maximum body length could reach 18 meters. To put that into perspective, the largest fish on Earth today, the whale shark, is about 5 to 10 meters long. The megalodon was twice the size of a whale shark. Its prey consisted of whales. During the 20 million years it ruled the oceans, it had virtually no natural predators. It was, in the truest sense, in Earth's history, the closest predator to perfection. Yet even a being like this could not escape extinction. Around 3.6 million years ago, the megalodon went extinct. To this day, no one knows the exact reason why. Finally, let me share a detail with you. Scientists have discovered that Saturn's rings may have formed only tens of millions to about 100 million years ago. Meanwhile, sharks have been swimming on Earth for 450 million years. In other words, before Saturn even had its rings, sharks were already in this ocean. The starry night sky you see now is not the same starry night sky that sharks once saw, but the ocean they swam through has always been there. Humans' oldest written word is barely 5,000 years old, whereas the first shark tooth precedes written language by 449.95 million years. It has written nothing down, yet it is the longest history book on Earth. You might think the sperm whale is just a whale, but you are wrong. It is an oversized dolphin. It belongs to the suborder of toothed whales, and its genetic relationship to dolphins is even closer than it is to blue whales. You might think that what's inside a sperm whale's head is its brain, but that is a huge mistake. Inside, it holds a substance that is more expensive than gold. Even its waste matter is worth a fortune, costing 20 times more than gold. The existence of this creature is itself a mockery of the laws of physics. Let's first talk about that head of theirs, which confuses everyone. Its entire body is nearly 18 meters long, and its head takes up a full third of that. Some people might say, oh, so its brain must be huge, right? Wrong. That massive head does not contain a brain, but rather hundreds of liters of a mysterious oil called spermaceti. This substance was once worth more than gold. To obtain it, humans nearly wiped sperm whales off the face of the earth. But the true purpose of spermaceti oil is far more bizarre than anyone could have imagined. When a sperm whale begins to dive, it regulates its blood temperature, causing the spermaceti oil to cool and thicken. This increases its density, acting like a natural ballast stone that helps them sink into the deep sea. When it needs to resurface, it heats the oil back up, making it lighter to propel its massive body of dozens of tons back up toward the surface. Its head is an organic buoyancy regulator with a precision far exceeding any human engineering. And then there are its lungs. After diving to a certain depth, the sperm whale's lungs will gradually compress and collapse under the water pressure. Yes, you heard that right. Its ribs can fold together just like a folding door, squeezing air into the trachea and air sacs for storage to prevent nitrogen from dissolving into the blood and avoid decompression sickness, the biggest fear of divers. At the same time, its heart rate drops sharply, from dozens of beats per minute to just a few beats per minute, entering an energy-saving mode that resembles suspended animation. Nature spent tens of millions of years to shape a whale into this marvel. Even the most top-notch engineers would marvel at it. Next, let's talk about its most chilling ability, sound. The sound made by sperm whales can reach up to 230 decibels or more. For comparison, a human eardrum will rupture at around 150 decibels. We usually speak at only 60 decibels. Freedivers have described that when a sperm whale clicks nearby, they can feel the sound waves piercing through their chest, like being punched hard from inside the body. It is one of the loudest animals on Earth, but the true purpose of this sound is not to kill. In the pitch-black ocean 3,000 meters deep, sperm whales use these sound waves to feed the world. With each click emitted, the sound wave hits the prey and bounces back, and its brain constructs a precise 3D map in the dark. The size, distance, and moving direction of the prey are all completely under its control. It is seeing with its ears, not with its eyes. This fact is more mind-blowing than any science fiction novel. What it hunts is the giant squid. This deep-sea behemoth with tentacles reaching over 10 meters and suckers lined with serrated teeth. No human has ever witnessed this battle firsthand. But on the body of every adult sperm whale, it is densely covered with circular sucker scars left by giant squids. Those are two giants from the abyss, engaged in a battle that has lasted for hundreds of millions of years, in places humans can never reach. Now that we've talked about its body, let's talk about its soul. Sperm whales live in matriarchal family groups. Grandmothers, mothers, daughters, and sisters raise the offspring together, passing down knowledge through generations. When predators approach the calves, adult females will spontaneously form a circular formation, tails facing out and heads facing in, to protect the calves, continuously slapping the seawater. Even killer whales are helpless against this formation. But what leaves scientists most silent is their language. Sperm whales communicate with each other, using sequences of clicks called codas. Those rhythmically complex sounds are somewhat like Morse code. Sperm whales in different oceans have completely different dialects. The Pacific population and the Caribbean population cannot understand each other at all. And more importantly, young whales need to spend a long time to learn how to emit codas correctly. Before that, they babble, just like human babies. In 2021, scientists launched a related project, using artificial intelligence to analyze thousands of hours of whale recordings in an attempt to translate their language. Studies found that the complexity of their language and the sophistication of their communication system are mind-blowing. We spent hundreds of years hunting them, yet we never even figured out what they were saying. In the 19th century, humans pushed sperm whales to the brink of extinction just for the spermicide-high oil in their heads to make candles, lubricate machines, and light up the entire city. Whaling ships set sail from the US, UK, Netherlands, and Japan, hunting them across the world's oceans for more than 2 centuries. It is estimated that over 1 million sperm whales died at the hands of humans. 1 million lives with family ties, heritage, and complex communication. It wasn't until 1986 that the international whaling ban finally took effect. And after that, when scientists dove into the ocean to get close to them, these animals did not flee or attack. They swam over, slowly circling around humans, scanning the strange visitors with sound waves, and then quietly stayed there, looking at you. A creature with the largest brain on Earth, after enduring centuries of slaughter, chose to face us with curiosity rather than anger. One last thing about its death. When a sperm whale dies, its massive body slowly sinks to the ocean floor. Scientists call this a whale fall. A whale's body can sustain thousands of deep-sea creatures in the pitch-dark ocean for up to 100 years. This is the sperm whale, the most generous life on Earth. We once hollowed out their heads to make oil for lamps to light up cities. And when we finally put down our harpoons and dove into their world with curiosity, they did not flee, nor did they attack. They turned around, scanned our bodies with sound waves, trying to understand what we are. Perhaps the deep sea has never lacked light. What is lacking is our ability to look up and see. The ones truly living in the dark have never been the whales, but ourselves.